Welcome to another video of Dataman. Today I'm going to be searching some jobs for iOS development. Let's see how far I can get. So first I'm adding rows from the GPT create multiple partition source, and I will add the rows here after saving the settings with a list of 20 role names surrounding iOS development jobs. After that, I will use these role names and search them on LinkedIn. So we're gonna make a we're gonna call it job. Oh, not that. That's another startup idea. Ugh, autocomplete. Fucking hell. Sorry about that. There we go. So now what I can use is get LinkedIn jobs, and that's a new function I just added. I can say location needs to be the Netherlands in this case, and the company name is not important. The search is a relevant query. We'll get to that soon, but first we're gonna paste the item, the job title, in the skill. Also, let's say I don't want to waste more than 10 cents per row, otherwise it will be a bit more bit too expensive maybe. And I'm gonna do a vertical expand. And like, how are we gonna ask the large language model to determine whether or not the search page that it's got, the next page, is still relevant? We're gonna say, did you find some jobs for item in this result? Something like that. So I think this will be good. So now we have iOS developer, iOS engineer, iOS app developer, senior iOS developer, iOS software engineer, mobile app developer, Swift developer. You can see Objective-C, iOS architect, blah, 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 blah. So we have 20 different keywords. So now I'm going to try it for the first 4 to see if it works, because I've never tried this function before. This is a live demo. So let's have a look what happens. Since it's gonna do a vertical expand, it means that it will generate a new row for every job it finds. Okay, so we already have a result. That's great. For iOS app developer, we get this amount of results. And you can see that every time it's an object, we get, in this case, a profile of Android and iOS app developer for bookable rental software in Dokkum in the Netherlands. So this is great. Really got some data to work with now. And it seems that these are still going. So I really hope that we're not going to get 100 pages back. So for the first one, we already got about 50 back. But for the second ones, now we already have 874 jobs from LinkedIn. I'm just gonna let it run for the others as well. I think it's not too expensive. It'll cost me maybe, but you know what? Maybe I don't need to do all of that. I think I'm just gonna do a couple relevant ones because, of course, they really have a lot of overlap. I think Swift developer could be interesting, and Objective-C as well. And the UI UX designer is not really relevant. Tester might be. Support engineer. Let's do these two because they are gonna provide really different results. Oh, that was fast. That's weird also. It didn't really provide me any information of what it did. So it did seem to have done Swift developer, but for some reason these ones have not been done. Tester, it could be just a bug. So if it doesn't work again, which one did I want more? This one. If it again fails, then I'm just gonna leave it for now. Yeah, it fails again. I guess there's a little problem here. I don't know exactly what's going on. The error handling is not perfect yet. But let's go to the next step. We now have 883 items with a job. So for the job, we have a little snippet. This one is in my city. That's cool. But of course, it's not always going to be an actual job. In many occasions, it's going to be the company. So the next step, I think, would be to figure out what the job is about, if it's a job at all, and like what company it is for, things like that. So we have this little snippet, and we can say something like is job. Let's do that first. Let's see which ones are actually jobs. And then we can say, let's do JSON GPT in this case. I like that one. Consider this Google result about a job or company. Job. Is this result a job related to iOS developer? We can then say, I want to have is job Boolean. I want to have that back. And then I'm going to say result is job. That's what I'm going to take. And this is all it has to do. It just has to return true or false for these entries, right? So let's first try it. Let's not do it for all of them immediately because it could cost some money. If it goes wrong, it's a waste of money. But you can see that it does return false, and it does return false. It does return true. It does not render very well. I'm gonna fix that later. I didn't know that yet. But then, like, we can definitely run this for all of them. Because we don't have the job for everything, it will not run the ones that it doesn't have the job for. So let's see if it doesn't crash. I would be surprised if it doesn't crash. It took a very long time to start executing even. Of course, it's doing basically 800 rows at the same time. I never did such a big query before. It's doing a lot of requests to ChatGPT, and I might get blocked from it. But yeah, the queuing system is not there yet. So it's just doing all of them at the same time right now. So we now have a list, and we can download it here too if you want to see what it looks like. You can see that that in actually the export isn't working right now. So there's a lot of things still buggy, still very experimental software, but at least you can see that true is many cases. So this one is a job related to iOS development, right? And by the way, it's a bit glitchy right now because it's still loading all these things. So it will take a while for them all to be back. Anyway, let's start with the next column. So for all the ones that are a job, we could do something like, what's the name of the company? Yeah, company name. Because now we have consider this Google job result or Google result about a job, right? Job. What is the name of the company if specified? What is the name of the company? And I always do this to get a more accurate result. It's a bit easier to do this than JSON GPT. If you wanna use JSON GPT, you have if you wanna have more accurate results, use JSON GPT, but it's a bit more work. But normally you can also do a lot with ChatGPT plugin. It's very easy. So I just say company name, and then it will have a more accurate result usually because of that. So let's extract it for these 8. So in this case, it's University of Groningen, bold, telos, not specified, not specified. So in this case, I really don't like it. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna change it to JSON GPT, because otherwise it's just gonna give an annoying result, right? What's the company name? So we can say company name null or string, right? And now we can say result company name. And we don't need that anymore. So this is a bit more advanced, but it's gonna give us better results. So let's see what it gives now. What I hope is, if it's not specified, oh, sorry, I have to of course say recalculate because it was already there. So now you see that it will provide null if it doesn't know the company. So in many cases, it didn't even have the job and it still had to calculate it. But let's do it for a couple more to see how the results are. In many cases, it will not be specified, so that's really useful to have. Now we can actually target these companies and see if we can, wow, this is a weird company. This is not a job in Amsterdam, it seems. This is in Minsk, Belarus. Okay, well, great to have, thanks. But yeah, you can see that now we have the company, and I'm gonna end this video now, but you get the idea. I think now we have a little pipeline set up where we can get job information about a certain job topic. We have also searched for the company name and whether or not the result is actually a job. Some of the next steps could be, for example, finding or reading, extracting the actual job post, like all the information, and then also determining whether or not this job would be relevant for you. We could also, from the job description, extract contact information for this specific HR person, for example, or if they are not present in the job description, we could scrape the company website for their contact information, and so on and so forth. So after we have done all those steps, we would be able to write a cover letter automatically and apply to 800 companies. Or of course, there are gonna only be maybe 50 companies that are relevant for us from all of these. So you can imagine that for someone that is searching for a job, this could save a lot of time. And that's what I'm hoping to accomplish here in this pipeline. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.